Hi, hello, my name's Ollie Bliss and this is my channel Book Drawer. For those who don't know, I enjoy looking at queer fiction and occasionally I create images out of it. Today I'm sharing you my sketchbook, so I'll just be flicking through some of the pages and talking to you about some different arty YouTubers, because I know the booktube community pretty much focus on books, apart from the wonderful ManicPixieDreamBoots, who used to be Spam who introduced me to Inktober last year, and this is how I ended up creating this sketchbook. This is basically an Inktober sketchbook from last year up until this year, so it contains daily sketches during October, and then I just carried on for the rest of the year trying to sketch as often as possible. I won't say it was daily because it certainly was not. And then again this year I actually did the daily challenges. Big shout out and thank you to Spanmade, because I feel like this year has really progressed with my skill level, and that's down to actually just doing more regular drawing. So hitting off, I wanted to talk about Clonts, because her channel is really good fun, and she talks about getting down to the basics about good and bad practice, but she does it in such a fun and approachable way. Holly Brown has actually produced her own manga, you can actually purchase it. I haven't actually read it myself, but it's something you can view online, or you can buy now as a physical copy. She actually has a great video which I'll add specifically below about colour theory. Another person I want to talk about is Rutten, who is a digital based artist. He does a lot of really clear, quick, skilled based advice. Another person I want to talk about is Sara Tepes, who does digital and watercolor based kind of fantasy style. Her style is so pretty. It's so light and luminous, but it's really soft and gentle. If you just want to gaze at beautiful things, check out her channel. The next person I want to talk about is Danica Sills. She does kind of watercolor and digital based art. Some of her scenes are more kind of fantasy based, portrait based, a kind of print style, but really, really beautiful work as well. Another person which I want to talk about is Croquis Cafe, which does life drawing classes. You want to focus on different drawings or postures, and they have a channel where it's dedicated to people posing for short durations, and then longer poses as well. But that has really helped with just actually thinking about form holistically. Another person who I want to talk about is Cesar Santos. So he is really super intense, super technical. He talks about his art like it's weight training. He's doing it on a daily basis. He does these hyper realistic, super moody, almost kind of like Caravaggio sort of style paintings with oils. Very kind of traditional in his style, but then if you actually look at when he's doing his sketchbook work, but when you look at his modern stuff, he's using those old traditional elements, and then he's putting a real kind of contemporary twist on how they are presented and held in their composition. And if you have artistic life goals, he is a leader. Another person I want to talk about is Owlarts. It's more kind of traditional and sketchbook related, lots of watercolour. So watercolour is something which I'm only more recently playing around with. I mainly focus on just drawing with Staedtler fine liners, because for me personally they enable me to get into more detail, and I like the way you can build up colour with the Staedtler fine pens. This is kind of just another example of that colour theory in terms of using complementary colours with each other, but I also clashed it with the little bits of green to help make some of his skin pop a little bit more. This is also just a little fun sketch which I did, which was from They Both Die in the End, which I think is just one of the most beautiful stories that I've read this year by David Silvera. But it's basically where these two guys know that they are going to die by the end of the day or at some point during the day, and they can go onto this online forum and meet other people who they know are going to die that day, and it's how they spend their last moments alive and living life to the full. Really, really brilliant book. I highly recommend that one. In this image, this was something which I did right at the start of the year for one of my previous videos for the counterfeiters. So this was just a very phallic pillar, but it's also to be used in a scene in a train station in Paris, which just illustrates this wonderful moment where this man casually drops his ticket. I love these two. So if you go on Instagram and check out the Death Birds, I forget what their actual name is. They're like the Bell Boys Blue or something. I really should remember what their name is, but they are beautiful, beautiful men who look like kind of 1920s like fictional doll boy creatures, ballet. I don't know. They're how to describe them. They're just sensational, really. Everything they do is just bizarre and beautiful and exotic. But just check out their Instagram. It's just insane and wonderful. So these were some images also to help me in training for when I did an event recently with the Proud Trust. So I'm a trustee with the Proud Trust. They're an LGBT centre based in Manchester. They support about 40,000 people per year. They're an incredible, wonderful, wonderful place, and they've been in existence for the last 30 years, and they had a birthday party. So I was there with a friend called Hebe, who works there as well, and the pair of us were doing these 5-minute sketches and getting people to pay what they thought they were worth, and it was just a great, chaotic, fun evening. I was drawing until 2:30 in the morning. There was a nice line of people down the bar waiting for them to be able to have a chance to get their drawing. It was a really, really fun experience. These are some more of those 5-minute sketches where I was in training. But this guy is called Soham D, and he's done this incredible song called Brave. It's really gravelly and soulful in its tone. I was listening to it for like 3 weeks. It's so beautiful. But he's an emerging singer who I think will be really, really big. I've loved everything that he's done so far. These are just some more sketches, individual pictures, which I've just put together over a bit of time, just finding different images from Instagram, just trying out different things. A lot of the time I'm doing sketches in my work sketchbook as I'm on a train, and then I just have stuck them in over time because this is quite a big, bulky book, and as you can see, it got quite damaged, so I ended up stopping doing that. I've been looking at like abandoned houses more recently as for a theme for a different project which I'm beginning to work on. So that's just me sketching out some ideas. I think in terms of like when I was doing Inktober this year, this is probably my favourite image which I've done, where this girl has just crashed out from reading too much. This is another picture of my partner, Craig. I don't think I've actually managed to do a single image of him accurately, but while I was doing my training, I was really trying to concentrate on getting down to a 5-minute image. I don't know if I've managed to achieve that. I mean, this is all him, but I almost cringe when I look at this one. He does have beautiful eyes, and I love his stubbly beard, but this is not actually my partner. It's a little embarrassing to look at. This was just from a wonderful day out which I had with a friend over in Wales. She enjoys doing lots of scenescapes of the sea, and she plays with graphite, which I'd never done in terms of using a graphite pencil. She just let me have a go while we were out together, and we just spent the afternoon sketching as the sun was going down. I ended up doing the rest of the stuff on a larger sketchbook because I just couldn't capture it in this small sketchbook, but I really enjoyed having a play, and I think that has informed stuff which I've done moving forward in terms of just being more free and experimental. This was from one of the people that I drew actually on the night of the 30th birthday party for the Proud Trust. I'm pretty sure this guy was coming up as we were drawing him. He was with a group of other people, and he ended up leaving his drawing. And really nicely, at that time, two other girls who had previously done drawings of, they decided they wanted to do drawings as well, so they also drew this guy, but then he ended up leaving his images kind of dotted around, I think, as he was off having a wonderful time. I also just want to say how much I enjoy and admire Freckle.
And they say, where's the bed? And I say, this is the bed right here. And they say, can we sit on the bed? And I say, sure, but these are expensive Japanese linen. And they say, but they're not even soft. And I say, sometimes things that are expensive are worse. Wow. So anyway, I suck both their dicks.
This is also an image from Alice Kettle, who is a constant inspiration in terms of textile piece, so I try and add little bits, but all her stuff is purely built up through machine thread, and I'm just like in awe of her work. She makes incredible, stunning, beautiful pieces. Sid was an incredible theatre piece by £5 Theatre, who I saw recently, and as I was on the train home I decided to do that. That was written by a playwright called Leon Fleming, but the piece is all kind of about the kind of punk era, and it's just looking at masculinity and identity. And I thought it was just a really brilliant hour. Anyway, we'll cut it off here, and I will see you all again real soon. Okay, bye!